This says Ryan Wingo has Rod Baber's hands. That's my former co-host and my good buddy on the On Texas Football Channel. Rod was a cornerback at Texas who dropped a lot of interceptions. He was great. He was an NFL corner, man. Rod was great. He would have played a long time in the NFL, but his shoulders went bad. But yes, he did not have good hands, but that's why he played cornerback. Somebody said here on the text line, this says refs missed the spike call. Well, we talked about that on the watch along, and I had to go look up the rule. Look, so when they scored the touchdown to go up 21-10 before the onside kick, he did spike the football, which, black and white. But the rule now says you can't spike the ball at an opposing player. If you spike it in the direction of an opponent, it's going to be a 15-yard penalty. He just spiked it it was kind of like a rugby spike.
Right.
So I can see them not calling that. I know fans were frustrated with the officiating, that 9 calls to 1. But yes, there was probably some calls missed. I don't think that was one of them. And that was a critical call because they would not have gone for an onside kick if they had to back up the kickoff 15 yards. But they went for it. But have you ever seen a game that went from tough and tight and tense to over that quickly? Because literally it was 5 plays.
Yeah, they had the ball for a quarter. Legitimately.
But really the game swung because Texas fans were still able to have hope and be in it.
Right. They're down to score.
And the first play of the 5 was the Colin Simmons jump offsides. Yep. From that point on, they were in the end zone 2 plays later, then the onside kick, and the game's over.
After the onside, done.
It's over.
Done.
We're done. That's it. I mean, I don't know that I've seen a game turn.
Put Arch Manning on ice.
Yeah, it's over.
I mean, 14 minutes, you said, right? Is that what
14, yeah. From when it was 14-10 and Kirby could
5 minutes
the game
and 27
slipping,
seconds.
They
went
went,
to the third.
There were 21 plays run from that point when they got the ball back. 2 fourth-down conversions, 1 thanks to Texas, an onside kick, and there were 21 plays, but it took up almost 14 minutes of game time.
A quarter, essentially.
More than a quarter. Yeah, right. Yeah, a quarter, 15 minutes and a quarter. And so by the time then the Longhorns shank a punt after a 3-and-out. Because they were putting up the stats on the ABC about yards in the fourth quarter, and it's like, well, they only had the ball 1 time.
Right.
They only had the ball. And that's credit to Georgia and the mindset, and that's the elite level, Sark. I mean, that's what you're dealing with. And I will say this again. I said it. We've had the debate ongoing about Sark as the play caller and the offensive coordinator. That game crystallized it for me more than ever because I don't think Sark's a bad play caller. I don't think he's a perfect play caller.
No.
I just think watching Kirby Smart be General Kirby on the sidelines and work the field and work the officials and work the game flow and work his team, it reminds you of Saban. And it's starting to remind you of what you watch Ryan Day do at Ohio State. And what these guys are not coordinating a side of the ball. Kirby Smart could certainly do that. But yet Glenn Schumann, his defensive coordinator, standing there next to him. He's his defensive coordinator. You don't think Kirby has input on how the defense operates? Sure he does. On a play-by-play basis? Absolutely. And adjustments and what are we seeing? But Kirby's coaching the team.
Yep.
Kirby's being the general, the leader, the field leader. I'm not saying Sark doesn't do any of that, but do you ever see Sark work officials? He yells at him, but this guy works officials.
He works them.
Works them.
Like nobody else.
Like he's the best in the game.
He is.
Like a college basketball coach does. And, I know opposing fan bases hate the guy, but it works.
The best coach in the game right now.
I know.
It clearly works.
He gets calls.
And he has trust in his team, and opportunities were there where he goes for it when you don't think he will, and gets the team to go off sides and see something obviously in the film where, hey, we can pull an onside here and take all momentum, strip the soul from Texas, and they did it.
Well, we'll hear Sark talk about this is going to really frustrate you, where his team is not responding to him this year, Sark, because he says during the bye week they self-scouted that and they repped that. Not that exact onside kick, but they were ready for it, and well they weren't. Here's Sark, though, recapping what went wrong in the fourth quarter, and pretty good game up to the 6-minute mark of the fourth.
Back left, Terry. Game until the start of the fourth quarter. It was 14-10. They get the ball, and they convert 2 fourth downs. They score. They onside kick. They score again. They pop a kickoff down there. We get pinned inside the 10. Shank a punt. They score again. It was 21-0 in the fourth quarter. So great job by Georgia. I thought they did a nice job. I wish we could have taken advantage of a few things earlier in the game, offensively, especially in the first half, that we just weren't able to. And, at that point, it was unfortunate because we thought we could have had a more balanced attack, and we didn't. Because we got behind in the fourth quarter. We had to start throwing at that point. So disappointing. It was a pretty good game for 3 quarters, and it was not a great game in the fourth quarter, at least not for us. So
All right, so there you go. And now it's a 2-game season for Texas. And I'll say what I said when we played that sound in the first hour during the opening tip. All he did was regurgitate what we all saw. Like, we all watched that. Right. It was a good game until that point. But, and then when he got into the question and answer, he still didn't, why? Like, hopefully today someone will ask him at the news conference at 11:30 to get ready for Arkansas now. Like, again, why would you come into this game? Last time they went on the road in a hostile environment against a really talented team, was Florida. And they happened to be coming off their bye week. And what was their defensive game plan against DJ Lagway? They played loose, off coverage, bend but don't break defense. And what happened? DJ Lagway in Florida got in an easy groove, got in a rhythm with their quick passing game, and next thing you know, they had 2 touchdowns on the board and you were trailing. So you come into the Georgia game off your bye week, and you play the same passive, loose coverage against Gunnar Stockton, who was brilliant in this game. Gunnar Stockton, give that guy his flowers. That guy was tremendous. He's the heartbeat of that team. He played great. But you didn't force him into any issues until...
Nope.
Think about this. Talk about the most maddening part of this game. Sure, it could be Colin Simmons jumping off sides. Sure, it can be Texas just isn't as good as Georgia. That's fair. I'll give you that. But at least you can play you can try to match them toe-to-toe and come up short. But this way, to come in and play loose coverage, I'll give you the example again. It's 3rd and 10 on the first offensive drive for Georgia. You have a chance to get off the field. 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10, yeah.
They brought 6, which means you're bringing a blitz.
Right.
You only have 5 guys in coverage now, which is going to be man coverage behind it. So why is Manny Muhammad playing 10 yards off the ball, and the receiver Noah Thomas can run a 10-yard out to the first down marker, and there's nobody near him? It's an easy pitch and catch. Manny Muhammad knows they're blitzing and the ball's coming out.
Right.
Hot. So why is it so easy? That's either poor coaching or the player didn't respond.
Which is still on the coach.
Well, yes. Like, what?
What?
And they did that on the first 2 drives. And those 2 drives came to, well, then what did they do from that point on? And this is why you should be watching the in-game watch-along, because Rod Babers is a former all-level,
right,
All-American corner at Texas. And he's like, I said, Rod, what did they do? So they just tightened up. They tightened up. Well, why did you come out in? Why'd you start like that? Just like you did at Florida and let them get off to a 2-touchdown lead. Because they didn't score again. Once you tightened up your coverage, they didn't score a point again until they had to take back over the game at 14-10. That's maddening. And then to hear Sark, listen to this, how did they get an onside kick? How are you not ready for this onside kick in that moment? And then Sark is going to tell you that, we worked on it. We were thinking about it. Well, they certainly fell asleep.
Yeah.
At a really big moment.
Sure didn't look like it.
Yeah, here he is.
That onside kick in particular, but we knew where we might be vulnerable to one. We actually practiced that kick in practice with anticipation that it might occur, and we didn't field the ball, and so it was a risk they were willing to take because it's a 21-10 game. We field that ball. We're getting the ball in the plus 45, and with offense with some momentum to go score, they took the risk and they recovered it. And inevitably, those are momentum-changing plays for sure in games. Any game.
Thank you, Sark. We know that. But so why is what's going on in practice not translating to the football field?
Right. Because
you're 135th in the nation in penalties per game now, with 9 more. That's been a problem all year. And look, guilty as charged that I expected, maybe I should have expected this, but I did think they turned a corner with the Oklahoma performance, the Vanderbilt game, that, okay, they're becoming a more disciplined, not committing as many penalties, more buttoned up. No, but it's just that stuff I don't. Now, if Manny Muhammad was told to play 12 yards off the ball on a blitzing situation on 3rd and 10, but was that him having a mental lapse on the field?
Right.
I know Colin Simmons wasn't told to jump off sides, or Ryan Wingo wasn't told to drop balls all over the first half, and DeAndre Moore, and however many other drops they had in that first half, and then blow assignments. I know this coaching staff's good enough that they aren't coaching that. So why are the players making these mistakes? Because as we say, big-time players make big-time plays in big games. The opposite happened for Texas. And I don't think – we talked about Kirby, tendency breakers, going for it on 4th down in his own territory, onside kicks. Where was Texas a tendency breaker? What did they show that they haven't shown all year? Where was that? And so this is where criticism of Sark and this staff is absolutely justified, because you needed more than that. You needed a lot more than that to be able to beat that team.
Well, and you brought it up with the Kirby Smart thing, right? He's the field general out there. And I'm not making an assumption here, but even if they practice that, let's just go back to that onside, right? They practice that. Why are we looking sleepy out there? Why are you not talking to your team? Hey, be ready for this. We know Kirby right now is trying to get all momentum back that he can. They just scored a touchdown. They just went for it on fourth down when they were on the 30. I mean, they had 70 yards to go or 30, whatever it was. Watch out for this because he's on one right now. Are you paying attention to what you're going to cook up with this offense, a play call, and you're just kind of sleepy?
Well, that's what we don't get the sideline shots.
Right.
But with Sark over there with Arch, hey, man, we're about to get the ball back. Let's get to what your game. Because again, he's the offensive coordinator. That's what he is. I would argue at that point about to get the ball on a kickoff.
Right.
That's primarily his focus.
Exactly.
And he leaves it to Jeff Banks, who should be on patrol with his special teams unit. He was going crazy on the game, the special teams coordinator. So yeah, that's if we call them measuring stick gains, which it was, you didn't come close to measuring up, and you got beaten all phases.
Every phase.
All phases of football, all phases of coaching, all phases of performing. And
preparation.
As we know going in and going out, it's going to be talked about nationally about Arch Manning. Arch Manning played fine.
That wasn't on Arch.
Arch Manning
It
played
hasn't
great.
been on Arch in a long time.
Arch Manning played great.
Last game he played bad was Kentucky, and there were some coaching issues in that game too.
Because Gunnar Stockton's numbers are almost flawless in that game against Texas. Credit to Mike Bobo and their staff and their game plan and how Gunnar executes that. I mean, he went through Texas, made it easy on him early, but Arch played fine, and if his receivers catch the ball in the first half, his numbers would have been gaudy.
Right.
I mean, and again, why do the receivers keep dropping balls? I mean, what is the culture issue here at Texas? Because there certainly is one, at least with this particular team. And can they bounce back? Don't sleep on Arkansas. I'll give you a little stat on Arkansas because we'll have all week to talk about it, and then that A&M game beyond it, 6 days later on the day after Thanksgiving. But think about this for Arkansas. They're 17 points from being an undefeated team. Like they lose close games. Like Bobby Petrino's team plays. They lost to LSU by a point. I mean, they played Aggies to within 10 points or 3 points, I should say. This team's going to be. You can't sleep on this game because and the A&M game becomes massive. And I think it becomes massive for Sark and this staff and just what the overall. Because if you go 9-3 and don't make the playoff because you lost this game and you lost the Florida game. That's forgivable. Go to 9-3 and be the sixth team in a group that gets 5 in. It's like Oklahoma last year.
Alabama,
Ole Miss last year, right?
South Carolina, right?
Yeah, okay, disappointing.
Right.
But if you cough up one of these down the road and if you end up losing to the Aggies, go 8-4, that's going to be really a disappointing year. And I'm not sitting here saying beating the Aggies is going to be an easy mission. We just watch them. They're really, really good.
They don't die.
They find ways to win. But again, Texas had been turning that corner and finding ways to win these games and playing sharper football and cleaner football. That's why Saturday was so disappointing at so many levels. And now it's the task of Sark to regroup this thing and get it back and get it to 9-3 and give yourself a chance. I mean, maybe Oklahoma stubs a toe.
You can't lose sight of it, right? There's a chance. There's still a fighter's chance.
And it's Texas. It's Arkansas and Texas A&M, your two longest rivals.
Right, exactly.
For crying out loud.